Alright, we have our very first warm spring day, so we are going to get up to some fun outside. Today's project might be a little bit more of a long form project, so I'm not sure how long it's going to take to film this video start to end. However, sometimes I get surprised and our projects move along a lot more quickly than anticipated, so we'll see how long this actually takes. Today I'm only going to do step 1. Would you believe that I didn't actually remember to film step 1? So here we have some beginning exterior shots. The first step, our first day of work, was to fill all those cracks in the cement plaster here with cement. We had a nice and smooth surface to work with when painting the mural. The next step of our wall prep here is to get this crud off. Since this structure doesn't have proper downspouts, the water must just splash down here, and it's bounced up and created this black section. I came out yesterday and just scrubbed this side to see how it would look after it dries, and it looks pretty darn good. In fact, maybe even a little too good. On the right, you can see the black part I was scrubbing off. In the middle there is the part that I scrubbed, and on the left is what I thought was the good section of the wall. But you can see it also needs to be scrubbed, so I'm just going to scrub the whole thing. All I'm using for this is a plastic bucket of water and a wire brush, both of which we found for free in our house. And the reason I want to do this before painting is that I think I'm going to leave this pretty trim of rocks unpainted here. It goes around the base of the wall, and then it also goes around the garage door on this side. I just like the way that it looks, and it sort of ties the building together here. So I'm going to paint everything except for these little rocks. Alright, well, we skipped a couple steps, but here's where we're at right now. We're in the middle of our busiest month ever at Benton Guesthouse, but in between other tasks, I'm just popping out here when I can to get some of this prep work done. And what you're looking at here is somewhere between 1 and 2 coats. I didn't get a full 2 coats of this white primer. And what this does, it's a special paint that we ordered that creates more of a smooth surface. So when we get to the point of painting the sunset gradient, the paint has a better surface to stick to, and it should make that process a lot easier. But we have many more steps before we get to that point. Up here under the eave, I've started painting the sky blue. It doesn't look great right now at the transition from the eave to the wall, but there is a reason that I've overpainted so much blue onto the wall, and that'll come into effect also once we start painting the sunset. We disconnected our downspouts temporarily so I could get the primer behind where they sit here at the corner of this wall, and I think I'm going to paint this side the dark blue of the trim, which is actually my next step. I just didn't want to have to squeeze back there to try and paint a sunset gradient. It'll be a lot easier to paint one flat color. It was also a pleasant surprise that we have a bunch of the dark blue from the guest house bathroom paint left over, and that's actually just about the perfect dark blue that I wanted for the trim anyways. We verified with our contractor, since this is a hand-mixed paint, that it's good for indoor or outdoor use. So I'm going to go ahead and use some of this for the trim. Yesterday I went around the edges and I scrubbed some moss and other loose rocks off the trim, so that should be at least good enough for me to start painting the dark blue. Alright y'all, as usual, we have a bunch of projects going on at once. Let's take a look where we are right now. I successfully have the dark blue trim and the sky blue underside done on all sides. It took a little figuring out to get it the way I wanted, but I really wanted the dark blue trim to extend to the bottom of this little lip that goes along the edge. And you can see here I wanted the sky blue to be on the inside of that lip. While I was painting the dark blue, I also decided that I wanted each end wall to be a dark blue accent that matches the trim here. I felt like once the white walls become the sunset mural, having the end walls being the dark blue is going to look really, really nice. I got little accents painted like this, and this little strip, also in the dark blue. I also got these gutters over here painted the dark blue. But now my attention is shifting to these rusty garage doors. The end result is going to be dark blue, even darker than our blue trim, but the primer, which is a special paint for painting over rusty metal, is gray. Since I've never painted rusty metal before, I thought I would start with this garage door, which has a lot less rust. Then I'll jump over to this one, which is pretty much solid rust. And then I'll start working on the garage doors themselves, which is proving to be a little bit difficult with a brush. I'm not known for being a patient person, and I really want to see how this blue's gonna look, so let's try just a little bit, even though we're still priming.
Are you watching?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love that dark blue with the other blues. Here she is with some of this dark blue up on top. It looks so good. Now this is the part of the process that I had been dreading the most, but as you can see, I've managed to make it through this whole door. Now of course we still have to do the top coat because this is just primer, and then I also have to do the primer and top coat on the opposite door, but while I was working my way through this door, I managed to figure out a pretty good process for how to keep all the separate parts from connecting so the door can still roll up and down after being painted. Now of course the next step is the top coat, followed by the primer, then top coat over here. But that's where I'm going to end this video for today because tomorrow is honey harvest. Actually, all week is honey harvest. I'm only going to be working on this project when I have time, and it's not very fun watching paint dry, but I think this video shows a good overview of all the prep work leading up to beginning the actual mural painting process. So wish us luck for honey harvest this week. And the next time we show you the outside of the Honeybee Workshop, we'll be starting on the mural. Sumi's watching these swallows who keep trying to fly into the garage to build a nest.